feel like playing that Sonny and Cher song. So put your little hand in mine.
Yeah, it's seeming not to want to work for you tonight.
It's Groundhog Day. Rise Groundhog Day. So put your little hand in mine.
Oh my gosh. That was a hilarious commercial that they redid with him. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah,
It
I
was a
did.
Super Bowl commercial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was hilarious. Oh,
With the groundhog.
yeah. He stole the groundhog and he's like, oh, that's something new. Saw an orange Jeep and took that.
So this is the third time I'm starting up again, and hopefully we can get through this. We shall see.
I've
Obviously,
seen you struggle a little bit tonight with that.
had to use a different camera. So we've got more people that are going to be coming eventually. And anyway, this is people will be able to check this out on the replay anyway. What happened was we started out a show at 9 o'clock, and by 9:16 there was a power outage here in Sarasota, Florida. So I was thinking September 16th is going to be, there's something that's going on with September 16th, right? So, but what was interesting was that the second power outage happened at 9:34. Think about those numbers, September 16th, or I'm sorry, 9:16 and 9:34. 16 is a 7, 34 is the 7. And I've got 3 sevens in my name, but I'm wondering if it's not September 16th, but September 7th. If you boil those numbers down to the lowest common denominator, 9:16 would be 9, the month, and 1/6 is 7. The second outage was at 9:34. So you have 9 plus 3 plus 4 is 3 plus 4 is 7. So you have 9, 7. So I'm wondering if September 7th is, I'm going to mark both of those days down. And let's hope that there's not another outage again, although it wouldn't surprise me now. Oh, well, it wouldn't be September, it would be October, seeing how it's 10 o'clock now here in the Eastern time zone. Welcome to everyone that has rejoined us once again on YouTube. And you know what? I just said, screw it. We're talking about Mercury retrograde. I didn't even get into the top 10 things not to do during a Mercury retrograde when, bam, it happened. So there is a link in YouTube if you want to join us here on Zoom. Don't be shy. So that's what I led off with the last time. Top 10 things not to do during a Mercury retrograde. And I said, don't have a Zoom conference, a Zoom video, and a YouTube video. And then, bam. So, yeah, here we are. We made it to 10:10 and still up and going. We'll see what happens. But top 10 things not to do during a Mercury retrograde. First one's kind of obvious, right? Don't make agreements. It's a horrible time for negotiating contracts or making decisions. Avoid entering into any agreements or signing any legal documents. Whatever you put into writing may require serious revision when Mercury goes direct. There is something in the details that you may miss, and there may be something that you don't know that you will only know when Mercury goes direct. I had a friend who got married during the Mercury retrograde, 3 weeks later, her new husband decided to tell her about the 2 children he had out of wedlock. Surprise. So, yeah, don't make agreements. That would probably involve, if anyone's looking for a house, if anyone's looking to buy a new car or a used car, anything like that, anything where you're signing a contract for something. Um, you don't want to do that during a Mercury retrograde, if at all possible. I know that sometimes, things happen, your car dies and you really need one for work, you know, hopefully. It's funny because I was just doing the birth chart for a friend, and her, I was looking at the retrograde planets on her birth chart, and she just happens to have Mercury as one of her. She was born during a Mercury retrograde. It's kind of rare. Not a lot of people are born with Mercury retrograde. My co-host on one of my N5D radio shows, Kendra, was another one. She's born on she has a Mercury retrograde on her birth chart. So, welcome to Mercury retrograde. Hey, to everyone on YouTube, you found us again and again. It's Groundhog Day, so put your little hand in mine. Let's sing that all night. Number 2, don't accept or start a job. That's another one with conditions. If you're looking for a job, you've been waiting a long time, and things have been rough, and you finally get one, take it. So don't accept or start a job. If you do, you may regret it. And this is the author's personal story. I had one client disregard that advice. She accepted a new job, and by the time she started, the month after, when Mercury went direct, the company had changed her job so much that it no longer resembled the one she had accepted. Her reporting relationship had also totally shifted from the great guy she was going to work for to the loudmouth, chauvinistic boss from hell. During Mercury retrograde, things are not what they seem to be. And number 3, don't try to close the sale. Closing a deal is often based on taking advantage of great timing. Unfortunately, your timing couldn't be worse when Mercury is in retrograde. If you're selling your ideas or your company's products, avoid trying to close the sale during Mercury retrograde, because you may be stalled with excuses and delays, or somehow your customer will misunderstand your presentation. If you get the order, the customer may cancel it or change his or her mind. Number 4, don't initiate new projects. Avoid launching new projects or making that big presentation. People may either not understand it or oppose it. You may find out later that you left out a vitally important detail that you didn't think of. If your project is adopted, it may either fail or have to be totally restructured at a later date. Number 5, scheduling meetings. Avoid or minimize scheduled meetings and events during Mercury retrograde, because you're more likely to experience confusion, mistakes, and cancellations. I once had a client whose business was offering public seminars. Oops, hang on. Got noise in the background here. Just gotta, there we go. Forgot where we were. He had a ridiculously high number of cancellations and no-shows for his seminars during the 4 times a year of Mercury retrograde. I told him to stop booking his seminars during those dates. Makes sense, right? That advice solved his problems. That shows you how real, though, it is. So, just be careful if you are scheduling meetings. Like, this right now during a Mercury retrograde. Speaking of which, I have a show tomorrow that I've been talking about, and I didn't even think about it, but I was doing it as a synchronistic date on tomorrow, which is 2/22, February 22nd, 2020. So you got 2/22/2020 at 2:22 p.m. I'm going to be doing a raffle for everyone that's on the N5D Patreon. And that's for anyone that's from the 111 up to the highest levels. You're going to be eligible for a free shirt of your choice on n5d.net. So I'll be doing that raffle at 2:22 p.m. tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a spirit chat tomorrow afternoon. So be sure to join us tomorrow for that. I'm scheduling a meeting, in other words, and we'll see what happens. So put your little hand in mine. Bam. Number 6, avoid traveling a lot. If you can't if you can't put certain trips on hold, just be aware that you can expect an unusual amount of last-minute flight cancellations. That's the truth. Meeting postponements and long transportation delays. Allow extra time when traveling. Make sure your bags are very secure. Take extra precautions because during this time, they may be more likely to be lost or stolen. Reconfirm your reservations, appointments, and addresses for your meetings as delays and cancellations can be expected. I remember flying from New York to Florida. My luggage got lost during a Mercury retrograde. Luggage got lost, and I think I got it the following day. The airport delivered it to me, but yeah, that did happen during a Mercury retrograde. And before we continue on to number 7 out of 10, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to everyone that's joining us in YouTube land. Heather again, Christine again, Eminem, Dawn, Aaron, Christine, Karen, Rosmond, Letitia, John. My screen moved on me, so I lost track of names. Andrea, and everyone that found it back again and again and again. Again and again. Anyway, don't get me singing. Well, I'll be like, no. Oh, and Tracy, your shirt's going out tomorrow, along with everybody else that ordered today. Your shirts are ready to go. Enjoy them. Number 7, don't purchase computers or begin installations. This is when you'll discover that you bought the computer from hell. You'll regret not buying the 3-year warranty the salesperson suggested. And when you install your new software, expect glitches. Hard drives fail, so be sure to back them up ahead of time. Number 8, don't repair your auto unless you absolutely have to. Repairs on the equipment in your car should be delayed. If you have to repair it, be sure to triple check the work that was done. Understand that you may find out when Mercury goes direct that the repair wasn't properly done and will have to be done again. Number 9. Don't buy things, period. Things, stuff. Get rid of the clutter anyway. That is, unless you enjoy making purchases that you'll later regret because you discover that something was wrong with the purchase. I once bought an expensive suit during the Mercury retrograde, only to find out 2 weeks later when Mercury went direct, the same suit was on sale at 40% off. In fact, it's a bad time to buy anything because you may eventually find out that it was too big or too small, or it just didn't fit right. Anything except for shirts at n5d.net. You can buy them there. You're good to go. If you buy a gift for someone, be prepared for reactions like, thanks, but green is my worst color. Or I already have one just like that. Number 10, don't select a roommate or move in with one. I could imagine the nightmares on this one. I have a very good friend who invariably finds himself looking for a roommate during the retrograde. Recently, he chose a person he was sure was the perfect roommate. Their credit checked out. They seemed nice enough and said all the right things at their let's get to know each other meeting. But once Mercury went direct, he found out that instead of being a neatnik, his new roommate was a slob, loved to play music loudly, and watched TV into the wee hours of the morning because he was an insomniac. So the best advice to avoid these problems, wait until Mercury goes direct to make important decisions. When that happens, clearer communication will return and necessary information will be more positively conveyed. Once again, important data can be relied on, and you'll see matters with 20/20 vision. Also, by waiting until Mercury is direct, you will possess important information that you did not know while Mercury was retrograde. So, whoops, where did we all go? Here we are. And there's everyone there. I'm going to unmute the chat room here. Hang on, whoops.
I have that coffee cup.
Okay, you're all unmuted. If anyone wants to talk about anything or how your Mercury retrogrades have been going, you're welcome to join in.
I have the same coffee cup as Desiree.
Yeah, I got it at Dollar Tree before the Mercury retrograde. So
I could kill.
Anyone want to talk about anything? Or is that it? Are we done? Was that a quick evening?
I'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day. Like, just, I mean, tech issues all over the place. Just, I mean, just unbelievable. I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, it gets crazy during Mercury retrogrades. This has been a trying experience today. With, I don't know if anyone really noticed, but I have like a different camera that's going on right now. I'm using the camera that I normally use isn't working today, so I had to use a different camera for it's a wider angle. Actually, I kind of like this one better, but
It is a good view.
yeah, the other one was more just zoomed in. I like this one better. So
yeah, we can see the sign better too behind you.
Yeah, I like that. More of the
and the
sign.
shirt better.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I don't really care for Mercury retrogrades, but yeah, I think especially after today, I can't wait to get through this one.
Yeah, it's just been like time was slow today. Like just it's hard to even grasp like what today has been really.
I noticed that we'll do a screen share on this, but I don't know if anyone else saw this earlier. On the Schumann resonance, there was a big outage, a blackout of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of a 6-hour blackout earlier. And that happened, I'm guessing we pretty much wrapped up last night around 12 o'clock. So it was a little over an hour after our chat last night that we had this blackout. And before that, we had these, this was really neat. This, if you zoom in, you're going to see all these different colors, right through here. And it's very unique. You don't really see spikes like this very often. So not sure what to make out of all that. Not sure if anyone felt anything from that.
Uh-uh.
Was anyone like unusually tired or restless?
I
I
know
was
last
completely
night.
drained.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Gary.
I was completely drained last night.
Yeah, I ended up sleeping until noon, basically
Wow.
today. Yeah, I got up and I did some work and then I had to go back to sleep. I was just like drawn to go back to bed to get more downloads or whatever, to sleep off Mercury retrograde. I don't know.
I actually wasn't able to sleep really well last night. I went to bed around 11 o'clock and I tossed and turned the whole night. And all through, like, this whole week has been panic attacks and like extreme energy. Like, the energy flow is like really, really sensitive. So I can't be around people that don't vibrate with me very well. So it's like very, very sensitive.
I get it. Yeah. It's not easy to get through some of these when you're going through that kind of energetic fluctuation and trying to intermingle with society and still be on top of your game. I couldn't imagine, having to work with, especially being an introvert, working with the public, being a salesperson or, cashier or something like that, just constantly interacting with the public. I couldn't imagine doing that, especially during a Mercury retrograde.
I can't deal with the public when it's not Mercury retrograde, let alone when it is.
Well, yeah, that's the empath within you, right? Picks up on all the energy of people.
Every bit.
Mhm.
Every bit. I just
People-
I work on my I work on staying grounded constantly, and protecting my aura, my energy.
Mhm. People don't realize that when you go out and about and you're making purchases, you go to the store and somebody's bagging your groceries, they're touching your food, they're putting their energy on whatever it is you're at the store buying. It could be Walmart, it could be wherever you are, but their energy's coming home with you when you're exchanging money. Think of all the energy that everybody's ever touched that money that has their energy on that currency. It can get pretty deep on all the energy that you bring home. If you, for example, like going to yard sales or, garage sales, lawn sales, whatever they are, flea markets, end up buying things, you're going to pick up. What's that? Well, excuse me?
Oh, I was just making a stupid joke about the dollar bills.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Hating to think where they've been.
Oh, right. I get it. Yes. And that could go for either gender or of the
Basically, yeah.
55,000 genders there are now, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to think about that. But yeah, anything that you have an exchange of goods at, you can pick up energies from and bring them home, especially during a Mercury retrograde. Boy, that could be fun. I'll drink to that.
I've been burning a lot of sage and Palo today.
Do you say anything specifically when you're saging? Or
Oh yeah, I cleanse. I cleanse the energy. I remove all negativity, all negative energies. Yeah, every time. Absolutely.
What specifically do you say when you do a cleansing in your house?
I say I'm cleansing all negative energies and removing all negative energies and entities from this space. They have no room here, and they're not allowed here, and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Work with what you know, right?
Do you put like crystals or anything around your home, or?
Oh yeah,
No?
good Lord. yeah,
Yeah.
I've got crystals all over the place. I've got well, I've got my salt lamp over on my left, and then on Monday I got a it's a salt lamp with the Himalayan balls, the heated balls on top.
Okay.
And that's sitting right here in front of me. I've got a crystal ball in front of that. I've got an amethyst, a selenite. I've got another amethyst, an angelite. I've got a blue quartz, and I've got seashells. I've got all kinds of stuff all over the place. Like I'm surrounded.
Mm-hmm. Shungite?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, obsidian. I mean, I've got hagstones. I've got lapis. I've got quartzite. I've got Lemurian crystals. I've got rose quartz. About anything you can think of, I've got at least a piece of it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me, on Wednesday, I'll be hosting Adrienne Goff, and she'll be covering crystals for the chakras here on Zoom and simulcasted on YouTube as well. But yeah, she's an awesome, awesome person. Such brilliant knowledge of all the gemstones. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I've even got, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a quartz
Hang on.
wrapped with copper, and it's got amethyst, lapis, quartz. It's got rose quartz, and it's got a copper angel wing on it also. I'm not sure if you can.
Cool.
And amethyst beaded bracelet on my wrist, because why not?
Is that your birthstone? Amethyst?
No. My birthstone is turquoise.
Okay. Something about amethyst though, the purple, the crown chakra,
Oh, absolutely. I have, if I don't have, well, I always have an amethyst in my pocket, but I've got an amethyst cluster that the turquoise is sitting on right now because it broke yesterday or 2 days ago in my pocket. So it's just sitting there right now because the ground is frozen and I can't bury it.
The lapis and the turquoise is also probably good for the throat chakra, speaking your truth.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've been standing in my truth for solidly for a week at least. And I mean, it's been this unbelievable just manifestation of it's been amazing. Like it's been so unbelievably amazing, the things that I've manifested in the last week. I can't even.
Did you manifest them through affirmations? Did you plan on certain things to come forward?
Oh yeah. When I leave the house, I always manifest a parking spot that I need. Like and it's, I don't manifest like a good parking spot. I manifest the best parking spot.
Yes.
Like right in front of the door. Boom. That's mine. Yep. I manifested that. I did what do they call it? The float tanks, Epsom float tanks. I did an hour session the other day, and I left. I don't know who I left in there, but he's not with me anymore. Like that guy's gone. It was unbelievable. Like it was the most freeing experience I've had since I've started this journey. I mean, I walked out of there in this.
I'm willing. Sorry, I have my glove on.
Um, you there? You still there with us?
No, I just was, if somebody wanted to talk, I was going to let them.
This is really bizarre how people are just like, yeah, it happens though. It happens.
But yeah, it was just an amazing experience. I mean, I walked out of there just on like, I don't even know if my feet were touching the ground. I swear I was like, it was.
What is that like? You said a salt tank?
Yeah. So it's what is it? 8 or 10 inches of water that's completely saturated with Epsom salt. Like if you like, it's so slippery, because it's just purely just Epsom and water. And you just lay there in this tank and you just completely float. Like you're not, and you can turn the light. There's like, there's like low LED lights, like colored lights, but you can turn them off. There's music if you wanted, or you can turn that off and just be silent. And I started out with a meditation and doing, I was giving myself Reiki, and then I'm not sure where I was, but for like maybe 10 minutes, I was doing meditation and Reiki on myself. And then I was just like in this whole other, I mean, I don't even recall where I went, but I went somewhere, and just before, I mean, literally like 30 seconds before I was finished, I like came to him and was like, oh, I got to go use the bathroom. And the lights came on and I was done. And I was like, wow, what timing. Like it was just so synchronous and so amazing.
How much does something like that cost?
So down here or up here where I'm at, it is $55 for a session, for a 60-minute session. But
Mhm.
depending on how often you go, they reduce the price.
And you felt like a new man afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. Like I'm still riding that wave. Like I'm still on that, like that cloud 9 kind of feeling.
Mhm.
Even having the day I've had, I'm like, it is what it is. I'm not stressing about it. I'm not worried
Right.
about it. Like technical difficulties and like some strange conversations and some strange happenings, and like just people have,
Go with the flow, stay in the moment.
yeah, like I was having great conversations, and then people just like disappear. It's like, what just happened? But it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it. Like I'm on my path, and I can't worry about where everyone else is. I have to do me now.
You know, I was recently had a show where I was talking about people standing in their truth. Are you one of those people that on, like, for example, Facebook? I know there's a lot of people that can't do this, but are you one of those people that can post like this show, for example,
Everything.
on,
Oh, dude,
on Facebook?
I post your show. I post New Thinking Aloud with Jeffrey Mishlove every morning. Like he's been having some issues with all that.
Mhm.
I don't try to be anything anywhere except for me now. If like on my Instagram, I post me. On my
Yeah.
blog, I post me. On
Mhm.
Facebook, I post me. It's my truth. I don't care
Yes.
what anybody thinks. You don't want to follow me, you want to block me, I see ya. Like we'll meet somewhere else in another time in another place, and who knows. But I'm gonna stand in my truth. Like that's exactly where I am at. Like I'm gonna stand right here in my truth, and I don't care who comes and goes, because what's meant for me is always going to be right here, right now.
I'm so down with that. And so many people are afraid of that. They're afraid that somebody's going to look at them thinking that they're not who they thought they were. And it just becomes a big head game
Yeah.
instead of just standing in your truth and being who you are and attracting those people that love you for being that person that you are, instead of the person that you're afraid to show
Right.
or
Yeah,
trying to
no,
be
and
what society expects you to be.
that's exactly. And that's, I've recognized that in a few people in the last few days, that it's the fear of letting go of their image of, the image that they've been indoctrined with, right? Their own self-image, Like, we're trained to be who we are. We're not allowed to be who we truly are. We're continually trained to be something that isn't of us, right? That's
A
a
label.
constant thing. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a label. And I don't like, go ahead, label me. Go ahead and do it.
Try
But
it. Just try it.
I'm not gonna stand in what you think is the truth. I'm gonna stay right here in my truth. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I can be whatever label somebody thinks I am, but ultimately I'm just me. I am standing in my vibration of truth, love, and light. And I'm not
Yes.
afraid to show it on Facebook or whatever. I'm not afraid to hide who I am. There have been a number of people who have unfriended me that I've known from my past, but conversely, I've made a hell of a lot more friends that are more like-minded. And that's what you end up getting. You magnetize yourself to those who are like-minded. And I can lose friends that don't understand me. I'm okay with that I've known for a long time. You know, if it's time for us to part ways, I'm okay with that. But I'm going to be standing in my vibration of truth, love, and light. And if they want to part, I wish you luck. I wish you love. Good luck.
So just wish them love. Just love them.
Yeah.
All you can do is love them where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not easy
Absolutely.
though.
Well, I mean, no, it's not easy, but you know, I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do this. You know, if it was easy, we wouldn't have to do shows like this. We wouldn't have to stand in our own truth, because everyone else would be standing in their truths, and we would, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would just be this, we would already be in the 5D. We wouldn't be having this conversation at all. And that's why
Well,
we're
we'd be
here.
having a different one. It'd be, how do we get to 70?
Right. No, but we wouldn't even be talking. We wouldn't have to be using words and
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's tough though. Some people, you know, they're afraid, and it's an inner fear of what other people will think. Maybe
Yeah.
part of it is control, you know, control issues of themselves and or of what other people may think.
Oh yeah, well, definitely, because I know from like my personal experiences, when I release control of what I think I have to have control of, so much more flows into my reality when I just allow instead of trying to effort, you know.
Yeah.
And effort and allow are complete opposites. And I've released my effort. Like, I effort into, you know, the mundane tasks of taking care of the house and cooking and things like that, you know, whatever it is, but I don't effort into like relationships. I don't effort into Facebook. I don't effort into my blog. Like, nothing came to me today, so I didn't post. This is the first day I haven't posted in almost 90 days. And that doesn't mean nothing will
force
come.
something. It wasn't
Yeah, I'm
coming
not,
from the heart if you have to force it.
absolutely. I'm not gonna. I don't want anything that's not truth. I'm not gonna take it. I've taken too much of that crap. I've owned so much crap that's not mine in this lifetime. I've given it all back to wherever it goes. Like, I've just released it all, and I just allow what is mine, what is right now, what is mine, what is my truth, what is love for me. That's, and I'm gonna stand in that. Like, and you know, I've had a couple of conversations with T Light, and you know, she can attest to that. Like, I'm not going to waver either way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. There's too much sugarcoating going on, and people only want to hear what's sugarcoated. And if that's all you want, then you're going to go somewhere else and get it, because I'm not going to give you the sugar-coated version. I'm going to give you the straight up honest, this is the truth. This is how it is. This is like, I'm an empath. I can feel things. And if we're having a conversation and you're coming at me one way and I know you're lying, I'm going to call your ass out right now. Like, don't bring that to me. Like, take it somewhere else. This is the truth.
The other night, a bunch of us decided we're all going to do like a group surrender. And it was awesome because, you know, a lot of people have been going through, everyone's gone through the dark night of the soul. And at some point, what we pretty much all had as a commonality was that we all experienced surrendering at some point.
Yes.
But I thought, you know what? It's been a while since I've surrendered, and I have had a pretty rough, since the heart attack. My dog died, and break up with my girlfriend, and it's all looping around again from what happened back in 2007 when I had the stage 3 cancer. Broke up with a girlfriend, and dog died then as well. I'm seeing this loop going on, but I surrendered back then, and out of that was birthed in 5D, basically. So out of this, who knows what is getting birthed right now? Hopefully the new earth, but something magnanimous, I'm hoping.
Well, I wasn't on the Zoom. I was listening to the live, and I was in my own salt bath here in my house with candles and some oils and some herbs and things like that. And I completely surrendered. And not only did I completely surrender, but I called on Metatron and Archangel Michael. And the last 2 days, I've been going through this emotional and detoxification style purge where I've gone through almost 2 whole boxes of tissues, just releasing all this mess that I've been carrying for so long.
What do
And
you
it
do
was
when you purge yourself to get to that emotional point of being able to get rid of it?
cry. I cry.
I mean, do you chronologically go back in time, or do things just come to you?
It's whatever is right now. I don't necessarily look for things. It just kind of comes out. Like I've forgiven people, like my
That's
father,
huge.
for instance, for my upbringing and things like that. My grandmother for how I was treated in my upbringing. I've forgiven, like, it's just, I've forgiven myself for the way I've treated myself for 43 years. I've only been really taking care of myself for like a year now, like really taking care of Gary Michael and loving me for who I am in the right now. And, I don't always do the best job of it, but I realized very quickly that I'm the only one who takes care of me. And I'm the only one that can do a good job of taking care of me. And yeah, whatever comes forth, like whatever is right now, I just let it out. Like it could be like my dog passed away last year, like just the best dog I've ever owned in my life. And he wasn't just my dog, he was my daughter's dog. And he got out one day and got into something and got so sick. And I did everything I could to help him, and I ended up having to put him down, and it just was very hard to have to not only could I not help him, but I had to help take his life, right?
Were you there when they put him down?
Not in the room. I was there, but not in the room. I couldn't be in the room. I couldn't do
I
it.
understand that. Yeah, I had to be in there. I had to, let my boy let my boy know that I'm there. I smelled my dog the other day. Have you ever done this? I don't know if you've had dogs in the past or since last week. You could smell your dog's
Yeah.
presence. Has that happened yet? Or
He sits with me sometimes. He'll just
okay.
come sit with me. I can feel him.
Mhm.
More so when my daughter's here. He is with her most of the
Right.
time. When I have my daughter, he's definitely here.
Yeah. I could smell my dog yesterday before I went on air. He was right here with me. So I firmly do believe, though, that when we cross over and or when we go on to the next stage of spiritual progression, that we will have access to our pets and our animals.
Yeah. And and in saying that, like, I always know when my dad's here. It's kind of weird because, like, he's not always here, but when he shows up, he's definitely like, hey, I'm here. Like, I am here. And especially in the last couple of days, and because like I don't just do Reiki on myself, I send Reiki into the past to heal all my ancestors so that I don't have to carry around all that dharma and karma and all the mess that's been passed down to me and all that crap. Like look, I'm here to heal the whole. Like, I'm not just here to do me. Like, I've been sent here to heal the whole of like all the past. Like, this is the end of it. I'm not leaving here until it's finished. And that
That's a
is
lot
my
of lineage. Do you know
It-
anything
it
about your
is.
past lives that you've been working on?
Yes, I was my grandfather. My grandfather died in 70. I was born in 76. I was him.
Wow, he came back quickly.
Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround.
I came back. It's crazy, but yeah. I
Does your
I'm not,
grandfather, through you, ever say, when I was a kid?
well, it's funny because when I was visiting the last time I was at the cemetery, I was talking to my dad, and I realized really quickly that he wasn't there. I was like, okay, I was just cleaning up around the headstone and things like that. And I turned around and I was like, hi, Gramp, how are you? And I was like, oh, you talk to yourself all the time, don't you? And I was like, well, yeah, you do, don't you? And you answer yourself too, don't you? I was like, yeah, you do, don't you? And I was like, this is just a little too strange. And then I was like, as I was driving home, I'm like, I turned the radio off and I'm like in this meditative state, right? And it just, so many things became clear. Like, some of the fears that I carry into this life are due to that last past life. And I've healed that. Like, I've literally gone and healed that. Like, I've reconciled that situation. Like, he was in the Korean War, and he had a hand in, eliminating other people. And, I've healed that. Like, I don't have to carry that around anymore, and there's so many things that just pop up. Like, it might seem insignificant at the moment, but then I'm like, wait a minute, what was that? I need to think about this for a minute, and I'm terrible at writing down in a journal what I'm going through, but I'm really good at writing down in a journal what I want to go through. If that makes any sense. Like,
Manifesting, yeah.
yeah. And saying that, like, I've also realized that I don't try to manifest in the 3D any longer. Like, I don't journal about what I want. I journal about like truth, and I try to just stay in the now with it instead of trying to ask for, oh, I need money, I need my bills paid, I don't want to worry about this, I don't want to worry about that. I just stay in whatever the truth is in the right now, so that I'm not bringing up all this garbage and carrying it around. And in doing that, it allows me to constantly be healing the past as I'm healing the present, but also healing the future. Like, I don't have to worry about what's going to happen, because I know that through ascension, this is it. Like, I'm not coming back to this place for a while. My next journey isn't going to be here in this realm. It's not going to be in the 3D, because I'm doing the work.
So your grandfather passed before you were born.
Yeah.
And your father passed.
My father passed 3 years ago.
Okay. So you were still young when he passed.
Fairly.
If you don't mind me asking, what did he pass from?
Which one?
Your father.
Pancreatic cancer is what actually killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about your grandfather?
He, in a snowstorm, in the middle of a blizzard, a car was backing out of their driveway, and he couldn't see the car because he was on a snowmobile. Like, he rode snowmobile as fast as it could go, every place it could go. And he hit that car head on, like it killed him instantly.
Wow.
Almost killed my
I
grandmother
can
too.
relate to your grandfather because I used to go snowmobiling, and yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does around here.
Well, that's a good reason not to live up north.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm manifesting my I am manifesting my move south. Like I'm done here. I moved south 10 years, or not 10 years ago. I moved south 17 years ago, was in North Carolina for 7 years. I moved back home. I've been here for 10 years and I'm done here.
Right.
Like there's some work I need to do still here, but my heart is in the south. Like I was born in Vero Beach, Florida, and I want to be where it's warm.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, we're actually hitting another cold spell here right now. It's going to be in like the, upper 60s, low 70s.
Oh yeah, that's cold. That's cold. Brag about it. Thanks.
I know. I have no one pities me.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little. No. Just one other question about your father. Does he ever visit you in your dreams?
No, so not in my dreams, because when I'm not dreaming. I'm at work. I don't go to bed to sleep. I go to work. So I talk to my dad when he's here. When he shows up, I talk to him. And it's just to let me know that he's here. Like, hey, I've got your back. I'm with you. He's like a guide for me now, or I'm not sure.
So
he shows up.
Unlike his, I'm assuming the grandfather was his father.
Yes.
Okay. So unlike his father, he's not incarnating that quickly this time.
No, he's still, so he's a lot better than he was. Like when he shows up, I can feel him stronger every time, but he's in this healing stage still. He did a lot of damage to himself when he was alive. Like he didn't ever take care of himself or even try. He survived.
It just makes me wonder, after going through a stage 3 cancer in 2007, where the cancer spread to under my arm and in my groin. They had to remove glands from both areas. Usually when it hits stage 3, it's usually terminal. I got to the point of where I wanted to buy a card for my daughter for everything, for like her next 20 birthdays, her next 20 Christmases, and even a card saying, happy anniversary, for first anniversary, 5th or whatever, and then record myself reading them on a DVD, or at the time it was probably VHS or whatever, back in 2007. But having my ex-wife give them to my daughter, my ex said, no, I couldn't do that. That would be too traumatic for her. But once I overcame the cancer, I told her about that. And she said, I would have loved that. Because even in death, I was still thinking about my daughter. I thought that would have been a cool thing. But so I get over that. And then last year I had the heart attack. I could have died from that. I don't know why Creator keeps me around. I have no fear of death. There's
That's
nothing
why.
to fear. Yeah.
Because you have no fear. You're still here because you have no fear. Because you're I'm not going to say you're leading a movement, but you are one of the light keepers. You're an anchor of the light, just like I am. And that's why we're here. We have to be here until it happens.
Yeah.
Because
a greater presence is keeping me around.
yes, we are, when it happens, there's going to be so much fear that we have to be standing in our truth so that we can dissolve the fear.
It's, for some people, it's hard to let go of the fear, but when you've already faced death a couple times, and that, for example, my sister died in 2011, and she visits me in my dreams, and she's young, she's happy, she's healthy. There's nothing to fear. if anything, you're lucky to, to leave this third dimensional reality if you're in that position of where you're not capable of staying until the end, until we complete what we're supposed to do here. There's nothing to fear on that. You know, when it's your
No.
time, when those, you know, I see them as road exits. You know, in 2007, I had an exit. I could have made my exit there with the cancer, but no, kept driving. And then I had this exit where I got into this car accident. This guy ran a stop sign and I plowed into him doing 60 miles an hour. Didn't die from that. And then, you know, last year, the heart attack, still here, still driving, still got my foot on the gas. I don't know. There's no fear. And I can laugh about it. It's funny that, you know, there's
No, it is funny. I can laugh about it too. Like I see where well, I can see where the fears are. Like I can literally feel people's fear. You know what I'm saying? Like I can feel their fear, and I try to transmute it. Like I try to stay grounded and stay full enough to help people transmute and eliminate their fear just by standing in my own truth. But there's also a point where, you know, there's only so much we can do now, right? There's only so much we can do until it happens. And then, but once it happens, we're going to be able to just be like, it's gone. There is no fear. This is the true reality. Remove the illusion.
I'm thinking it's going to happen so instantaneously that everyone just, well, most people pretty much make the transition, which once again makes me wonder, why the heck am I still here? But I'm here.
Well,
I'm going to make the best of it.
Well, I mean, if you weren't doing what you're doing, I couldn't be doing that. I couldn't be doing this right now.
That's true. I mean, you know, I'm totally digging this Zoom platform of being able to bring people aboard and talk to other people about their stories.
It's been a blessing to me. I've made some of the best friends I've ever had in my life, just simply through this platform right here. It's been awesome for me. Like I love it. I love that you do this on a regular basis. When you don't do it, I miss it. Like, Greg didn't come on today. Oh my God, you know, is he okay? Like, you know.
Yeah, I've been doing it pretty much 3 out of every 4 days. I'm pretty much on here. So I'm 75% of the time I'll be doing a video. Actually, there's 3 of them on today.
Right.
Yeah, 3 videos today. But yeah, it's really cool to do this. And people are getting, you know, especially the people that come here on Zoom, they're getting recognized by people that are in the YouTube chat. And, you know, because people can now place a face and a voice with the name, as opposed to YouTube chat. It's a name, and a lot of times it's like it's not even a real name. You know, it's somebody hiding behind a name that's not even themselves.
Absolutely.
Here we are, standing in our truth.
did that.
You are Gary Michael. I'm Greg Prescott. This is me.
And that's who I am on Instagram, and that's who I am on Facebook. If anybody wants to look me up or hit me up, my name is Gary Michael Tuttle. I'm the same person on Instagram. I'm the same person on Facebook. I'm the same person on YouTube. I'm not hiding.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
And I hope that in time we have other people that will break out of their introvertedness and their shyness and join us here as well. And so we can place a face and a name and a voice with, you know, with the name.
There are some beautiful souls coming into this platform. There are people that are finally gonna step out and let their voice be heard. Definitely.
It's time.
Yes, it is.
So I'm gonna unmute everyone here. If anyone wants to jump in, you're more than welcome to. You're all unmuted. I have a link in chat, Zoom chat, or YouTube chat, if you want to join us. Do, 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 do,
I'm
do.
shopping at Walmart right now, Greg, so I have to, but I'll stay muted for a while and listen.
Okay, we'll send you lots of positive energy.
Make sure you put your astronaut suit on when you walk in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Put that bubble of protection around you before you get out your car.
That's true. Thanks.
It's funny how we have the whole like the same the same perspective for like Walmart shopping.
Well, that's
Yeah, we
where
all
all the
shop
crazy
there.
goes.
But we all shop there.
Minimally. Like
Yeah,
I
the
only go
water's
there
cheap.
if I have to.
I buy they have these Zephyr Hills 2.5 gallon containers of water that I buy there. And yeah, I buy stuff there. I don't go that often, but yeah, I shop there.
Because they have everything.
I should go in with a tinfoil hat though, you know, to live up to the expectations of the Walmart shopper. A tinfoil hat with an antenna on top. That'd be kind of
Or
cool.
two. I mean, you could do a couple of antennas. I mean, you could really get.
What's that one movie with the guys or like the aliens that come to Earth and like their heads are shaped like a cone? Or like is it like Conehead or something like that?
Coneheads,
Dan
yeah.
Aykroyd.
Yeah. Go there and put I don't know. The lights are flickering.
Of course, you'll end up on YouTube.
Look at Greg.
There's Greg from
doing now.
N5D wearing a tinfoil hat at
I'll end
Walmart.
up
my
on
gosh.
YouTube, Facebook, everywhere.
Oh yeah. Hey, it'd be good publicity for N5D. I could wear that with pride, I guess.
Instead of buying water, you know, from a store, you might want to think about a home distilling unit. They're around 150 to 200 bucks, something like that.
Well, I rent, so I don't have the option of changing anything that's in the place the apartment that I'm renting.
Well, all I do is you just plug it in, and then you fill it up with water and put the little glass jug underneath it, and it distills the water. It takes about 6 hours for about, I don't know, 3 gallons or something.
You know, I used to drink the distilled water, and I noticed that I was losing my hair from it. So I stopped.
So full of impurities that anything it washes out will just benefit me. So the heck with it. Although I do store it in after I distill it, and this is one of the things that we actually need. I had the good fortune to purchase a egg-shaped clay pot with a spigot on the bottom, and it's unglazed clay. You put distilled water in there, and because the clay breathes, the water is in continuous motion, so it never grows anything like mold or anything. And it makes the water, it restores the liveliness to the water because it's got that Schauberger principle of circles and stuff like that, spirals. And so then I put a few, what are those what's the carbon 40 mineral? I forget what it's called, but I put a few of those stones in the bottom of it. So I figure, well, it'll leach some of that off, and because it's distilled water. And so I take the distilled water and just pour it into the clay pot, and if it's leaching stuff off the clay and off the little carbon 40 mineral, I figure that's
So does that remove everything from the water, like fluoride and
pretty
pharmaceuticals and?
Yeah, usually the home distilling units don't do 100% because that's, you know, it's not scientific grade, you know, type apparatus, but it does remove, let's say, 97% of it. So this makes it a lot cleaner. I've been drinking that for years. Of course, I also don't have much hair.
I'm telling you, there's something to it about distilled water and losing hair. I'm telling you. I
Yeah.
was doing it. I did that. I interviewed this one dude. Yeah, well, this one dude, Andrew, I forgot his name. He was big on Norton, I think Weber, Andrew Norton Weber was doing this thing on distilled water. And I got into it and I tried it, but I found, at least for me, I was losing my hair and it was leaching minerals from my body that I needed. And I figured, well, I'll go back to the spring water that has these minerals that are more natural.
Yeah.
So
It's. I think when you're doing the fruitarian diet now, and once you switch over to a little bit, adding some more vegetables since they're neutral, I think you'll find that you'll get all the organic minerals you need from things like celery and watercress and all sorts of stuff like that. And so especially if you can get something locally grown that wasn't growing 1,000 miles away and shipped by truck 3 weeks ago, I think you'll find that you have plenty of minerals. At least
well, I'm going to be I'll be going back to like light on the meat, but chicken and fish and maybe occasionally a burger. But I think there needs to be that balance, at least for me. That's what I'm feeling. There's somebody here on YouTube that's asking you, Eminem is asking, where did you get those clay pots?
I actually purchased it at a store.
Walmart.
It no longer exists. It was called Raw Source, and they had a couple clay pots. I did look online for them. It was like $100 for that clay pot. I did look online. I found one source in Canada, but he quit a couple of years ago, and that was about $225 a pot. And then I'm like, they can make this stuff, and they do have carafes that are made of unglazed clay that you can buy from India, but they're not egg shaped. And so that's why I said it would be really nice to meet a potter here in the community, a pottery maker, who could, I could give them the dimensions and they could make them and make money and have the life and, until the ascension.
Why don't you do that? Learn pottery.
Yeah, right. No.
Why not?
Plenty to do. Not my job.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it'd be like a cool way to make income as well. Find something that you can do artistically and put your energy into it. And yeah, who knows?
I don't know. I'm not a handy person. Those people who do that kind of work, they love what they're doing. That they love that slimy feel as the clay is circling around in that table. So.
Well, I'm that way, as a musician, and I'm sure Desiree's that way as well. With artwork, using her hands for artwork, and I would guess craft work as well.
Yep, you gotta love what you do in order to create it. Because if you don't love it, then there's no point in making it.
Yeah, and that goes
Especially during the Mercury Retrograde, it's a really good time to start creating things and releasing what no longer persists to you. So for me, is painting. I paint my dreams, or I paint whatever I'm going through at that moment, and it helps me release that energy. So even getting a few like say if you're not an artist, I would really recommend during this month until the 9th to till the 10th of next month. I would totally recommend getting like even little tiny, what do you call them? Canvases
Post-its?
and like a couple
Okay.
colors and just splat it onto the canvas. And it's really fun. So even if nobody's an artist, I would totally recommend it. And especially getting your anger out. Like say if you have anger and some colors are representing your anger, get it out on that. It really helps. I swear.
That was one of my major sequences in high school was art. And I used to love, my thing was making cartoons. I used to love doing that. But I also liked working with charcoal and oil, but I haven't done that in a long time. I just don't have the time. I have the time to play guitar, but I don't have time to do everything that I would like to do.
Well, that's actually one of the issues that needs to be corrected by the upgrade. You know, this whole live 60 to 80 to 100 years and then, you know, die. It's ridiculous. You know, we need at least 500 to 1,000 years to experience all the parts of the world and do like 25 different careers and, you know, all this stuff. We don't have enough time here. So.
Well, not just that, but also to remember our past lives, to know that, okay, well, I don't have to do that because I already did that as a past life. Or I did that in a past life and I want to be even better and take what I learned there and go move that into the next dimension. You know?
Absolutely.
We see that even now with, you know, little kids coming in, they're 3-4 years old and they're playing Mozart and all this stuff. And it's just insane, you know? And so, yeah, we're already pushing that envelope, but it would be nice. It'll be much better when all of us can, you know, see things more clearly. By the way, I was going to comment on some of the stuff previously. The message I got for at least the last 2 decades, because, you know, I get antsy and I'm like, I've got to fix the world, and blah, blah, blah. And the message I kept getting, and I kept fighting it for years, was relax. I don't want to relax. You know, I want the world to change and I want people to be happy and, you know, relax. And I'm like, okay.
Mine is slow down.
Yes. Mine is slow down also. I always know when I'm driving too fast, a bird will fly in front of my car. Every time. I could be 2 miles over the speed limit and a bird will just, okay, slow down.
Well, that's not fun if you have a lead foot. I like driving fast.
I used to like driving fast. And I started riding with my daughter.
Yep.
I don't like that anymore. I don't drive fast.
No. I totally agree with you. When I was driving my daughter, I would drive like an old granny or grandpa. You know, that was different. That's precious cargo. But when it's just me, I'm like, screw it.
Well, it depends on where I'm at though. Like if it has to be safe in order for me to speed.
Well, okay. So you're on the interstate here in Florida. Everyone's doing 85, 90.
You go with the flow of traffic.
There you go. Sometimes the flow has us over 100. Well, has them over 100. I would never speed.
You would never speed.
I would never speed at all.
Damn it, I want my spaceship back.
Yeah. Hey, look, Mark's buying some clay pots at Walmart.
That's the only scene I actually did in the original Star Wars was the scene where they take off from, I think it's Tatooine, and Han Solo is zooming up into the sky with his ship, and I'm like, wait, that's what I want.
Right? See, I think a lot of us are. That's why we have those flying dreams. That's why we drive fast. It's why we have that lead foot, because we're used to just flying like that, you know, where there is no speed limit. Speed limits and laws are for those that want to be controlled. I don't want to be controlled. But of course, I'll always obey the law.
Of course.
Me too.
Have you ever, like, imagine like you're driving in a spaceship when it's snowing, and like when you're looking at all the snowflakes, you turn on your bright lights, and then you're imagining like there's stars like flying past you, and you're just like, yeah, I'm driving my spaceship really fast.
I
And
wish I
like
did
so,
that. I wish I did that in the snow back in the day when I was in New York.
well, like I live in Illinois, so like during the Mercury retrograde, there's been a lot of snow going on. So yeah, it's like been like the Earth releasing a lot of energy. So you turn on your bright lights when you're driving, like either fast or slow, and you're just like, oh, I'm driving my spaceship, yeah.
Heck
Ooh.
yeah.
And then someone gets behind you, you're like, oh.
See, that's the dreamer that Carl Jung was talking about. You know, what was that quote that he had? I don't have it in front of me right now.
Hope that's not a cup, Desiree.
What's that?
I got a little shitter here. For anybody who's going through a really rough Mercury retrograde, here you go. They sell them at the Dollar Tree, so for dollhouses. Take a small bath while you're at it.
I wanted to touch on something you guys were talking about with water. I installed an RO system in my house, and that's what I use for cooking and drinking. I don't drink or cook with the tap water. I clean with it, but it's very, very hard. So I installed an RO system to eliminate a lot of that mess. So it's just pure water, not garbage.
Do you have any sort of shower filter?
Shower filter? No.
Let me go get this brand name. It's really weird, and I don't think it should work, but it somehow spirals the water.
I know what you're talking about.
And it doesn't. The only thing I know is that my sink smells like chlorine, but the tap water is absolutely fresh. It somehow coats the pollution as it's spiraling, and it comes out and hits you, and then it's perfect for showering. Let me go get the name of it.
Somebody on YouTube is asking if I would have Corey Good on as a guest. I've interviewed him in the past on N5D Radio. Interviewed a lot of people, but you know what? I kind of dig this more than interviewing, the names, in our genre. This is cool because we have real people with real experiences. This is where it's at.
Yeah, I truly enjoyed the open chat forum, not as opposed to like when you have a certain topic, but like I just feel more compelled to be a part of it when it's just an open forum as opposed to a topic. And it's not because I can't relate or don't have anything to contribute. I just feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when I get on, I get to talking about things and then I don't give other people a chance to talk. So I try to just.
No, you're doing fine. It's great. What you got, Mark?
The name of that, okay, the reason I use it is because you don't have to change any filters. It's lifetime. So it's naturalactionwater.com. The thing's called Natural Action. And I don't know, I've used it for years and I'm going to continue to use it my whole life. I didn't even think it should work, but for some reason it does.
I know some gardeners who garden naturally and they use in their watering system. It's a vortex funnel. Mm-hmm. They pour the water into a funnel and it vortexes the water out and it purifies the water as they're watering their gardens and their plants and their vegetables and all that stuff. Amazing.
Yeah, for anything that I have in my house, like all my plants, I don't give any of my plants anything during that week when it's raining. I collect the rainwater and then I water all my plants with that. Now you're not supposed to collect rainwater, but I only collect it like when my plants need it, like when they're droughting. But it seems like when they're droughting, they really do need, like, that's when the rain comes, and then, you know, or I put them outside and collect the water like that. But they seem to be pretty good with rainwater. They really like the rainwater, so instead of all the other crap.
So am I looking in the right place for that shower head unit under products?
Yeah, I don't have this one. I have the one right below it. They used to be $2.99, so they've gone up a little bit. This one.
So this you put this is a shower head, or you can put this in your shower?
Maybe it's mine isn't hemp, that's for sure. So maybe it's the one up. It's the one up above it, I guess.
I didn't see a shower head in there. That's why I was wondering if I'm looking in the right area.
Portable. That's a portable unit. Oh, you click on portable units. Structured water products. That should be it.
So I'm not seeing a shower head in any of these pictures.
Click on standard size in the
This one?
on the menu. Click on standard size and see what that does. Here, right
That's
there.
that one.
Yeah. Designed for gardens and under sink. Huh. Maybe they don't make them anymore. The portable units are, I've got one, but I don't use it because you're supposed to take your drinking water and pour it into it. I'm not going to do that because I'm using all the distilled in the clay pots anyways.
Here in Florida, I use Zephyr Hills. I have the big, it's just spring water. It's pretty good spring water.
Cool.
They put it in these BPA-free bottles. I found one of these, though, in my fridge. I haven't had one of these in a while. It was hidden in the back. It's the 10 pH water. I used to drink this all the time. Can't afford it anymore, but I found this. I'm like, wow, this is like a rare bottle of wine to me. Can't wait to have it.
Nice and aged.
Yeah,
It's the
Greg,
best
I was
water
going to say,
ever.
I'm addicted to that alkaline 88 water that's out of Scottsdale, Arizona. They sell it $3 a gallon over at Walmart, so I buy it by the case.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, the Alkalife 10. I could have been a spokesman for them. I believe in this product. It is yummy water. And people think water is just water. No, that's different water.
No.
That water's fan-friggin-tastic. Just can't afford it.
So since this is about like the Mercury retrograde, almost like, so have you read anything upon like what the symptoms would be? Like anything that would be, you know, any symptoms at all? Like sicknesses or anything that comes up with it?
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to look into that. Hang on. Have you noticed anything yourself while I'm checking this out? You know, that typically happens during a Mercury retrograde.
I've noticed myself going through deep stages of healing and headaches, severe like cleansings, like let's say like diarrhea or like just stomach pains if I'm not eating anything right, or if I'm not eating right or drinking right, or if I'm not on the right diet like I'm supposed to be during this time and cleansing right, I get really sick, like a flu-like symptoms, almost like you know, kind of like they say the ascension, you know, symptoms, but it's more like a deeper feeling. So if you have more things to heal with yourself, it feels like that you're going to have more symptomatic, flu-like symptoms, like just feeling sick, nauseous. If you feel like there's something deep within you that you need to talk to somebody about and you're holding it in, it feels like, throat punch, like your chakras need cleaned out. I don't know if anybody else has been feeling that way, but I definitely have. Like if I don't, like right now I'm writing a book about my life, so it's probably going to take at least a year to write, but it's something that's brought me to my own brought myself to my own attention of what I need to heal or what I need to get out for other people to help heal themselves. So, there's just different I guess everybody experiences it different too, but there's just a lot to heal with everybody. So
Okay. Well,
Absolutely.
that makes sense.
I definitely resonate with that. I mean, like I said, I've been going through this emotional purge the last couple of days. And last night, no, 2 nights ago, I went to the store and I grabbed a couple of chocolate bars because I haven't had chocolate in a while. And I was like, yeah, I really want some chocolate. Because normally I have chocolate like every day. Like I'm a chocoholic. At some point in the day, I'm going to eat chocolate. And the other night, I didn't even get a half of a chocolate bar with almonds down. And I was so sick. Like I was physically ill. I could feel how, it was terrible. And it's all the sugar, right? Like it's all the sugar because I've been doing the fruitarian diet, like very minimal, like I eat minimal vegetables to like kind of supplement for that. Like, I don't know, I get like a feeling of just being hungry. So I'll eat like, I'll just cook some broccoli or some peas and, just eat it. But I got so sick, physically ill from eating not even, and I didn't even eat half of the candy bar. And I was on the phone with someone and I was like, I was sick. I couldn't do it anymore. Physically ill, felt terrible.
Yeah, I think more and more people are going to find that their body is going to revolt, and they're going to say, no more sugar. We don't want any more sugar.
Yeah.
And as you clean out, what I found is that as your body achieves a certain level of cleanliness, it reacts to the poisons that come in. If you're already really poisoned and you put more poison in, the body goes, oh, great, more poison. Now they put it here, they put it there, just kind of automatic. But if your body reaches a certain level of cleanliness and it recognizes, oh, this is something, we got to get rid of this right now. And it just you go into sickness because that's the ways your body releases poison. It wants to use your bowel movements and your urination, but if those aren't efficient enough, then it's going to use your skin and your lungs and your sinuses, and it'll burn it off with fevers because it's got to get rid of it. So.
A lot of us, or at least several of us in this genre, have been saying that now is the time to eliminate addictions. We're getting that message over and over. Mine was, it hit me in the back of the head with a 2x4, had a heart attack, stopped smoking, and start eating healthy. And that's another thing. We abuse our bodies sometimes, and with food, sugar is poison, basically. Look, Mark's showing us all the candy at Walmart. Yeah. But yeah, that's poison. It's freaking poison, and so was even though I was smoking the organic American Spirit brand at the time.
Justification.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It's organic.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that hard to quit. Honestly, I smoked since I was 18 until, September of last year, 58, almost 59. So a long time, 41 years of smoking. Quit like that. No problem. Of
Well,
course,
congrats.
having a heart attack will do that to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
my
would-
mom smoked since she was 13 years old, and almost 10 years ago, she was sent in the hospital. The lining of her heart is inflamed, and she's been having heart issues. But she quit smoking, and I introduced her to the vape pen, and it's been helping her. But now they're saying that the vape isn't good anymore, so she's
Popcorn
having a
lung.
hard time with that.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to quit, and I believe it. Addictions are hard. And I was over at their house last night, my mom and stepdad, and I was staying the night, and he smokes like 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and as I'm trying to sleep, or like when I'm sleeping, I wake up and I feel like I have an elephant on my chest, and I'm like, ugh, like I can't breathe. And him and I got into an argument this morning. He's like, "Oh, well, it's fine. You always come here when there's cigarette smoke." I'm like, "It's not okay anymore. You need to cut it out." Because I don't smoke, and I surround my house around. Last week during the Mercury retrograde, when it first started, or whenever it did, I bought 3 plants to fill the little, heartache void I had, and plants really helped me heal. So I told him, I was like, "You need to open up this space," and So I understand where the addiction comes from. I mean, I don't personally have a lot of addiction except for, you know, going towards men that, abused me when I was, younger and stuff, but I've learned not to go back. And that was my addiction. So now my addiction is plants.
You
So
were
it's
asking
just a lot of
before.
cleansing.
You were asking before about symptoms, and that was a good point about Mercury retrograde symptoms, and this is what I found. Here's an article at darpayment.com, emotional effects of Mercury retrograde. So yeah, and this makes sense. Okay, so what physiological symptoms would you feel during a Mercury retrograde? Well, temper, your anger, short fuses, right? Short fuses are a common emotional effect of a Mercury retrograde. If you notice your temper rising, cool it off by taking a few steps, a few deep cleansing breaths. This will help you to oxygenate your brain, but more importantly, allow you to respond to the situation more calmly. And this would make sense too. Number 2, nightmares. Nightmares may be more pronounced during a Mercury retrograde. Your subconscious mind analyzes and processes your thoughts, feelings, and experiences during your day. If you are experiencing nightmares, choose to look at them as a top-notch detective would. Write your dream down and take a subjective look at them, noticing any connections to your current life situations. Number 3, communication breakdowns will occur during Mercury retrograde. So you'll have arguments, right? This means not everyone's going to agree with one another. Let yourself and others off the hook by simply agreeing to disagree. Relationship breakdowns. Relationships issues are magnified during Mercury retrograde, and even the strongest relationships could experience a meltdown. Look at the situation that is causing breakdown consciously, as well as through the eyes of love. If the relationship is salvageable, endeavor to find a mutual compromise that is the best and highest good of all parties. Also, if you're in this relationship and you're having a breakdown, look at yourself. Look at what your partner is mirroring back to you as well, right? Number 5, mental and emotional heaviness causing you to feel slow, spaced out, or confused. Remember to ground your energy on a regular basis. And you guys know that we're big on grounding here at N5D. This will allow you to reconnect your body with your emotions. One of the easiest ways to stay grounded is to keep yourself hydrated. So during Mercury in retrograde, drink up. It's funny, we were just talking about water. Number 6, emotional upset is very common during Mercury retrograde. Be prepared. Once again, our emotions are getting played with these retrogrades. Things are crazy during this planetary cycle, and outside and internal stressors may take their toll, causing tears to flow. Honor your tears, like Gary was doing.
Yes.
Crying is a great stress and can be very therapeutic as well. Frustration, and yeah, you'll probably experience that sometime during a Mercury retrograde, because things seem to be so off during Mercury in retrograde. Frustration is sure to surface. Do yourself a favor, and above all, let yourself and everyone else off the hook by allowing yourself to be flexible. Number 8, unpredictable moods and roller coaster behaviors. I think that one's self-explanatory. Number 9, difficulty sleeping. Mercury in retrograde will affect many people's sleeping patterns. See, this one is something you might not think about, but you were talking about that, Desiree, earlier, about having sleeping issues when we were talking about the Schumann resonance, and maybe it is because of the Mercury retrograde. So Mercury in retrograde will affect many people's sleeping patterns. If you can't take a short power nap during the day, go to bed an hour early. A hot bath, which, oh gosh, all the stuff we were talking about is coming up. A hot bath prior to retiring, or a hot cup of chamomile tea also works wonders for a natural sleeping aid. I take melatonin, 5 milligrams of melatonin. And number 10, self-doubt. During a Mercury retrograde cycle, you may find that you second guess your decisions. Most likely, the energetic effects of Mercury in retrograde could be the interfering factor. If you do not need to make an immediate decision, give yourself permission to delay making any important decisions until after Mercury returns in its normal orbiting pattern. Some things there that you wouldn't think about that might happen physiologically to the body that do happen during Mercury retrograde.
Well, Mercury
so
retrograde is
resonate.
in Pisces too, so you got to understand Pisces is a really emotional water sign, and this little girl behind me, she's a Pisces, and she's, since her father left, we no longer see him. She's been a total mess and clinging on. So this is really a big time for a lot of the Pisces people to come out. A lot of anger has been rising up through Sagittarians, like fire signs too. So like Sagittarius and Aries, you got to watch out for. We're pretty angry, and there's a lot of built up anger in there. So this is a big time for the water signs and the fire signs to really release.
Absolutely.
I think
Purge.
the earth signs have been doing pretty good, and same with the other signs. But I think everybody still needs a release. It's nonstop. You need to work on yourself no matter what. But this is the major time for Pisces, though, because we always get a Mercury retrograde within some type of sign each year.
Yeah, it seems like, with a Mercury retrograde coming 4 times a year, chances are it's going to be in one of the elements, each one of the elements throughout the year at some point. Something I never thought about before either.
Yeah. I feel like everything that you read on that was absolute truth. Absolutely. I've gone through tonight, that last part about just making poor decisions based on the past instead of based on the right now. Like, that hit that hit home.
It's funny too that what they were mentioning in that article was a lot of what we were talking about in the conversation in this Zoom chat, without even knowing what we were eventually going to synchronistically read together. And it's crazy how it all unfolds.
It's funny how we were talking about water, and like a lot of people actually don't know what, like, the sign that Mercury was in too. So like when it was saying like hydrate, knowing that it's in Pisces. So
Yeah.
make sure you do a head dive right in the ocean.
Water being the mutable energy. I don't know
We
what they're
don't seem
talking
to be a
about in-
very lively bunch tonight, do we? It's very calm and like,
Oh, I'm here. I can talk now, but you're right. It is calm.
are you working out?
Yeah. So if it's too noisy, just let me know.
No. Go for it, dude. Do you, man? I'm proud of you. Hell yeah.
It's like I have to cram everything into one day of the week because I work 6 days a week. So
Oh,
it's hard.
I don't know. They're talking about supplements on YouTube chat. I'm not sure where that's going or how it got in there, but
Yeah, I take 20 supplements a day, and it probably costs me about $1,200 to $1,500 a year. So it's kind of expensive.
it can be. I was
Would they
taking a
be-
bunch of different ones, like, turmeric, and
Mhm.
I think I've showed them all, all 15 of them that I was taking at other points, but I'm not taking anything right now. I just feel good with the Pretarian diet.
I was just gonna say that it's so much cheaper to just buy fruit and eat fruit than it is to buy all these other things to try to go along with the terrible food that we eat. If we're just buying and eating fruit and getting our greens and like I feel great. I mean, I don't put anything in my body. I don't take an ibuprofen. I don't take an aspirin. I don't take anything. Like I take nothing.
I don't think we need them. I mean, to spend that much, athletes do, and some rich people spend that much on injections and everything, but you don't really need it. All you need is food. So
All
Yeah,
you
you-
need is food. Da-da-da-da-da.
and sunshine and air, but yeah.
Do you have a cape on behind the Superman shirt? Is there
No.
a cape?
No.
Okay. Just curious. I was wondering why
It's
you
just
had
my
to
thing.
drive if you can fly,
Exactly. Super speed,
right?
all the other
Faster
abilities.
than a speeding bullet.
yeah, I don't take any supplements or medication, but I am kind of a fanatic. I insist on everything I do. So, yeah,
I just said I don't put any poison in my body and I'm smoking a cigarette.
Any other poisons other than nicotine?
I-
And
Not even
tobacco?
coffee. Like I tried the other day, I was so exhausted. I drank a pot of coffee and that, oh my God, like, wow. No bueno.
I've never been a coffee drinker. Everybody in my family drinks coffee except me. My daughter drinks coffee.
I don't drink it. I used to drink a pot or two a day. And in the last 6 months, I drink tea or water or orange juice. Like that's it. I don't drink coffee when I've overdone it and I need to keep going because I have things to do, but not because I like it, just because it's there and I can use it.
Well, so is water.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same kick.
Nope. I remember back in the day, my thing was Mountain Dew. I used to drink.
Mm.
I would pack like an 8-pack of Mountain Dew cans into a cooler when I was a child and family therapist, and I would drive to their homes and throughout this 3-county area that I was working. But in between kids that I would see, I'd be pounding a Mountain Dew. I drank a lot of that crap back in the day. And I found that when I was getting off of it, there was headaches from just withdrawal from Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it's designed to be that way. All those soft drinks. I feel my sister, she was addicted to like Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, one of those two. And very, very heavy. And it took her a lot to keep off of it.
Well, the aspartame alone is horrible for you. So I did mute Mark. It was louder than I thought. So he's okay with it. Feel free to join us when you're done. All I heard was
Yeah.
I'm sure there's things that there's things that I could do better with on addictions. I've done really well. I haven't had any alcohol since the heart attack. I wasn't much of a drinker before that anyway, but I did enjoy an occasional Jack honey. That was my thing, Jack Daniel's honey. But I would say it might have been like a month before the heart attack was the last time I had any alcohol. It was probably Jack Daniel's then. It's been 7 months since I've had any alcohol, cigarettes. But I would say probably shitty food is probably my weakness. Occasionally I'm going to eat pizza. I love pizza.
That's my downfall right there is pizza. I would eat pizza like every day. If the only thing to eat was pizza, I'd be okay with that. But I've also realized since I've started eating the fruitarian diet that one slice of pizza is one slice too many. It just does not jive.
See, and I totally get it too, because I've done that. And I told Andy the last time, I said, yeah, I broke down and I had some pizza. And just like what Andy said happened to him the month before, happened to me that right afterwards. It went right through me.
Yeah. Same
but
thing.
It was yummy. It was good.
Oh.
I would do it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to eat fruits the rest of my life. Occasionally I'm going to meld back into, incorporating all the other foods back into my diet. Want to detox and get to the weight where I need to be. But in the meanwhile, I'm still going to have occasionally a piece of pizza, and I might do something else or whatever. I'm going to make this enjoyable for me. And to anyone that's been strict with their diet, I applaud you.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
For me, the part that works is saying that's not food, and then I just go. So even if I walk into some place where it's there, I'm like, my mind has already said that's not food, and then I'm able to just turn. But if my downfall is if I could say, well, I'll just have a little bit. Well, does that mean, half a cup or a gallon? I don't know the difference. What does a little bit mean? And, a sip,
It's a personal pan pizza versus a large pizza.
There we go.
There's no such thing as personal pizzas.
Well, see, you could get pizza with pineapple on it, right? Fruitarian pizza.
Got to have ham though too, or it's not.
See, I guess I got spoiled when I was in upstate New York. They have such great pizza in the Northeast, and down here in Florida, pizza sucks. So, I love pizza, but it just isn't the same down here.
Hey, come up to Chicago, then you know.
Well, I'm sure they would come in second next to New York pizza, right?
Eat some pie.
Tell you what, I
Hey,
do love a Chicago deep dish.
With all the cheese.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
stop
there's a
it.
certain place. It starts with a G that's up in Chicago, and
I'm
I
gonna
went there
mute
for the
you
first time ever. It's so
if you're
good.
gonna talk about pizza.
My mom makes gluten-free pizza, and because she has celiac disease or celiac, she can't eat gluten, so she makes gluten-free stuff. And there's some good recipes out there if you guys are interested in that stuff.
I was going to
Gluten-free
interject
stuff is really good for you.
about the cauliflower pizza that they have at the grocery store now, and the Amy's organic. I've been ever since my awakening. I switched to the organic pizzas, and they're like the size of personal band pizzas, and they're still really filling, and you know, they don't give you all the effects that the pizza places will give you. You know, Domino's and Pizza Hut and whatnot.
I tried that,
Yeah.
the cauliflower crust pizza.
Mhm.
Nah.
No.
Nah. I
If
guess
you've
it's
been
okay.
grown on a certain pizza, yeah, it's kind of hard to switch to different pizzas that are not like how you kind of grown up with.
Yeah.
I've got a place literally like 2-minute drive from my house that does wood-fired oven pizza, and I just, yeah, that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm.
So what's up, Elena?
Hi,
Hey,
How's your Mercury
Yeah.
retrograde going?
it's good. I just got off work as always. Mm,
Woogly, woogly, woogly.
it's pretty. It's always very interesting for me. Like, I noticed that stuff that I would need to commit to, just it's not necessary at the time. And there's really nothing important going on right now that I have to commit to. And I know the fact that a lot of stuff you promise to gets reversed afterwards. And luckily it's just been pretty chilling so far and peaceful, but there's been a lot of other people coming at me with energies that are like bombarding me, and I have to choose what to do with it, like boundary them and say no. And there's been a lot of people that need help, and I have to choose how much to help them. That's been a theme for this one right now.
How are
And
you
I
getting
wanted to,
by doing that? I mean, how do you make your decisions when you know,
so this
there's
is
so
what
many
I do.
people involved?
It's a big practice. I think about it, and I think about the first option that I want to do, and then the second option, and then if there's a third. And the feeling I get, sometimes it's constricting and it's scary and it feels bad. Like it makes me tired and it feels like I'm sinking in, like constricting in. And that's a no. And that means I shouldn't do it. But if the feeling I get is something, even if it's hard and I don't want to do it, but I get a feeling that I'm excited and I feel a little more free, and I feel open and expansive, then it's a yes.
It sounds like
And
you're reading your DNA, because your DNA, when you're like stressed out, constricts, and when it's happy, you know, and in the love vibration, it expands. So
yeah, so I go through in my mind what would happen if I did this, and then I go through in my mind what would happen if I didn't do it. And whichever one feels good and all right to me is the one I pick, and it always works. I get bad feelings when I shouldn't do it, and I get excited feelings when I should. And I've been aware of the Akashic records since I was like 4 years old. I thought there was a book written about me and everyone had a copy of it in the world, and that they knew what I was gonna wear that day, and they knew what clothes I'd have on and what I'd say. And I was like, oh, those people are looking at me, they recognize me, they have a copy of the book that's about me.
Sounds like
And then
the
I realized,
Winchesters, almost like.
yeah, but it's
Dean
everybody.
Winchester, we have every book of you in your life.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I realized I was just becoming aware of all the possibilities and everything that is written in the Akashic records, and that everyone has one, not just me. But I thought I was the center of the universe. Because of that, I was like, I know I have a book, I'm the one. And everyone has it, but I'm not supposed to know about it. They're not supposed to tell me.
Yeah, I've got it right over here. If you want to see it?
There we are.
Yeah,
I can't show it to you. Sorry.
I know I'm not supposed to see it.
We all have it though around you. Yeah, everyone that's in this chat room has your book.
I'm
We were
sure they
talking about
do.
it
I always
earlier.
knew it.
We were just
Yeah.
talking about your book before you came on.
Yeah.
That's what they always do too. Before I come to work, I find out everybody knew what I was gonna wear already that day, and they're just expecting it.
So dress up like
But-
Waldo. They won't expect that.
Yeah. No, they
They would
won't.
not expect
They
that.
already know I wear my tie-dye shirt like at least once a week. I wash it so I could wear it. Or even if I don't wash it, sometimes I still wear it. But the thing I always do from Mercury retrograde is I also try and tell myself that nothing's going to affect me in a way that is not going to be good for me. So I just meditate, and I always meditate anyway, every day and night. But when it's coming on, Mercury retrograde's on its way and during, and I feel all the energies, I just put this out there, an intention that nothing's going to happen that's not going to benefit me. And even if it's hard, it's going to be something I need. And that no matter what, nothing's going to mess me up. It's all going to be what's supposed to come. And it's intense sometimes, but it all comes at the right time. And then right after it's done, I'll make a contract. Like I'll promise that I'm going to buy this thing that's expensive, or I'll promise that I'm going to work at this place for some extra days. And like promises and contracts I'll make, it'll be when it's over. And I know that that does mean the stars do affect things, but luckily it always happens and plans out somehow. And I think it's because I do that surrendering thing. Every time I'm like, don't let this affect me too bad. Because I used to hide in bed a lot, so I wouldn't have to. Yeah. I mean, I still sometimes am scared to go outside. Like today, I actually felt a lot of collective unrest, like people angry in the world. And maybe it's because of the weather around here. It was 25-mile-an-hour wind all day and 50 degrees and rainy. And like, I knew there were a lot of people that were unhappy, that were angry, and it wasn't me. But sometimes I feel a lot of all of their stuff. And I just take extra time to smooth it out within my own field. And by the time I actually do go outside, it's fine. It's beautiful. People are nice to me, but I get this feeling a lot where I'm scared to go outside because I think there's too many people out there. And it's worse during Mercury retrograde because I know that they're freaking out. They're going through things. They're going to come towards me because they see me and they think I can help them. And I don't want to go outside sometimes, even worse during this. But I've been supporting myself. Like the past few years, I've been supporting my Mercury retrogrades by doing extra meditation, water, and the surrendering of reminding myself whatever is going to happen is coming to me. What I need is coming to me. What's supposed to happen is going to happen. And if it's at the right time, days or months or weeks from now, that's fine. And I just accept everything, even if it's horrible. Like today was so busy, it was horrible. It was slammed, and my coworkers, sometimes they stuck. But I was like, you know what? Just fuck it. That's the world today. Everyone's out in this horrible weather. Everyone's coming to Weber's for a safe haven, and I'm going to give them that. So I just kept working really good, and it turned out fine. Like, we made a lot of money, and no one had bad service, but it seemed like it was going to be a horrible day because the whole restaurant filled up in like 2 seconds and then stayed full for hours. And I just think that some of the things I do really help me piece that shit out a lot. Like
Definitely.
peace.
You have a great attitude for your Mercury retrogrades.
I've been since I was 18 and I'm 27 now. I've been researching all the things that affect me and trying to figure out what they are and how to deal with them.
Well, happy day of incarnation. It is tomorrow here in Florida, it's 222.
Yep.
Ha- Happy
Here, I'm
222.
in Florida.
Happy day of incarnation.
Yes. Celebration.
So I wonder something, Greg, if your ruling planet is Mercury, does that make the effects double on you, or do you think it cancels it out because you have a relationship with your ruling planet when
That's
it's
a good
retrograde?
question. That's a really good question. I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
I think it depends on where the planet lands, what sign it's in.
Uh-huh.
Good question, though.
It seems like you could kind of ride with that waves and be Mercury along with Mercury and be opposite the way Mercury's opposite. Just try and be like Mercury, maybe. I don't know either. I don't know.
So what's going on, Gary?
Me? Not too much. Just
The other
finding
Gary,
out,
yes, yeah, you.
my
We got two
Mercury
Garys here.
retrograde. Yeah, it kind of caused me to not be able to get into this for about 2 hours. But you know, that's what it is. What it is. You know.
Well,
I've had electronic things going crazy all day around me. My computer has like started spitting out contact information from people that, you know, I thought I had removed from my contact list 15 or 20 years ago. And all of a sudden these names are popping up again. So, and my high school has a retired people luncheon group that gets together once a month, and they're meeting Friday. I think I'm just going to have to catch that one because I'm kind of being pulled in that direction, I think, to kind of reconnect to some of the old folks I used to know, you know?
mm-hmm. So you got your root chakra shirt on.
Yeah, actually, it's the red one, and I always wear red on Friday because I'm a ex-Army NCO, and we do that to remember everyone deployed until everyone who's deployed outside the U.S. comes home. Every Friday we wear red, and this one is just an extra special red. I tell you, it's my favorite red shirt now. I wear it every Friday. So, you know,
It's got a little extra energy into it.
Got all those good vibes on it, you know.
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
believe it or not, I actually bought myself a little portable pyramid. It's about stands about 4 feet high, and I've got it set up right now in my extra bedroom, and I've got all my crystals under it. And it's interesting because every time I get under it, all the hairs on my arm start rising. Anytime I stick my arm under it, the hairs come up. When I'm not got my arm under it, nothing. So talk about energy, how it concentrates the energy and just directs it. And
yeah,
I can't wait to meditate under it. I'm going to do that past life meditation you mentioned, I think last night. I'm planning on doing it tomorrow morning. After I get up and do my Tai Chi and stuff, I'm gonna check it out because I have been having some interesting dreams lately. I have been getting flashes, you know, of experiences that I've never had in this lifetime. But
mm-hmm.
you know, they seem normal. They seem, you know, real. So sometimes I think I'm more at home when I'm dreaming than I am when I'm awake. So.
I feel that way big time. Yes, the dream life is so much more real than the waking life. And we were just talking about that earlier. I was talking about some spirituality quotes from Carl Jung.
I did catch that part of your first one, and that's when my screen froze up when you got to about the fourth quote.
Well, that wasn't you. That was me.
Powerful mojo there, my man. I think that's what happened. You know.
No, I had a power outage here. I had two of them. I had 2 power outages, but the quote I was thinking of is this: your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens.
Yes, that is, I mean, talk about a knowing. I mean, you know, every time I hear that, I read it, it's like, yes, you know, so I totally get that. And that's kind of how I feel like I am now. It's like, you know, I do admit part of my dark side, part of my shadow work is trying to incorporate. I have a lot of feminine energy. I always have, you know. I mean, I've always had a strong intuition. I've always had a lot of empathy. You know, I also I feel compelled to stand up for somebody when they're being bullied or when they're being abused. You know, that's kind of like who I am. You know, and I think what's happening is I'm kind of incorporating all that and becoming the whole, you know, the whole package, the whole person that I'm meant to be, you know, and, you know, this is my time where I'm going to stand in my truth. You know, I'm starting to post things from, you know, N5D and whatever on my webpage. And I've already gotten some questioning, you know, messages from old friends who, you know, knew me back when I was in the Army and a hard charging young sergeant. And they can't understand how I've turned into this peaceful guy now, but you know, that's what you got to do.
Good for you, standing in your truth.
Yes, I mean, you know, I'm not going to hide anymore. You know, I mean, a lot of, you know, a lot of my life I've held myself back. I've stood in my own way because I didn't have a lot of self-love. I didn't believe in myself, and I figured sometimes if I don't try that way, I'm not going to fail. Well, all that means is that you never do anything. And that's not a good way to live, you know? And I just look back on the patterns now in my life. I mean, like I've been married to the same woman now, and every woman I've ever had a relationship with is basically the same woman, you know? She's a alpha female. I'm in charge around here. You're lucky to be in my presence kind of woman, you know? And
I think I
with
married
it.
the
I put
same
up with
woman.
it too much. And it's affected me in a really bad way. You know, my health is just
Type
really
A controlling
sucks.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I'm coming to grips with that. And, you know, and I mean, when I think about any of them now, instead of, you know, instead of that, I'm like, okay, send them love and light and thank them for what they taught you, because I think I'm finally getting the lesson. You know, it took repeating over and over and over in my life, you know, and then eventually the universe, you know, it comes in and you understand. So I think I'm kind of getting there anyway.
Yeah, this is what universe did with me. You know, my mom is type A personality, controlling. My first wife, my daughter's mother, type A personality, controlling. And I finally, you know, I couldn't see the pattern in my life at that point. So what does universe do? Wife number 2 is not only type A and controlling, but is born on the same day as my mother. I mean, this
Wow.
is, have you not learned your lesson yet, Greg? Well, if you haven't, here you go.
Yeah. Same with me, man. I mean, my mom was a total type A, you know, I mean, like, and my dad, you know, he kind of had sometimes they had issues because they wound up both being Leos, you know. I mean, like my mom, my goodness, her family, her whole life told her she was born in November, right?
Right.
And she thinks I was born in November of 1930, whatever, you know. Well, when she thought she was 63, she starts getting Social Security checks, and she finds out, oh, I was actually born August 10th, 2 years before. And hey, I'm a Leo too, you know, because they were born like 7 days apart, you know, in Leo land. And fireworks aplenty, let's just say, you know. But
Leos.
I had to go, you know, I understand now. You've got to go through it all until you finally, you know, accept and surrender. And I mean, I have been, you know, I told you I've been surrendering. I'm constantly now just trying to step back and not get in the way of anything and letting the universe, just letting the day unfold, you know, and especially now with all this Mercury retrograde going on. And I mean, some people are just really acting out, you know, they just have this irritation. They don't know why, and they just explode, you know. But I have realized that, you know, no, what I need to do is I just need to stay here at home. I need to do my scoot of gratitude, which I did around the apartment complex. I waved at everybody. I smiled, and I've been watching like the Three Stooges, and I'm a big fan of a British sci-fi series called Red Dwarf. It's really hilarious, and it was on back in the 90s. And I've just been binging on that all day and just trying to say, hey, I'm here, I'm up, I'm positive, When the first, Zoom chat didn't pan out, well, I just kept checking back, and every now and then I'd try to log in, and eventually it worked.
Well, it's been a trying time today for at least in 5D with the chats. I got kicked off twice with a power outage here in Sarasota. And fortunately, I've been on since then. But what I noticed was really interesting. The first outage came at 9:16, and the next one came at 9:34. If you take away the 9, you have the 16, which is a 7. And the 34, which is a 7. So I'm wondering if on 9/7 something big might happen this year. So
I see 9/16 every day.
Oh yeah,
it's my daughter's birthday, and I see 9/16 every single day. I always see 9/16. I don't know.
Well, that's good.
I was also wondering if Leos have anything to do with the planetary new year being July 26th, and how they used to start the new year when Sirius rises, and Sirius usually used to be rising in the end of July, and July 26th was the first day of the planetary new year for Egyptians and everybody before the Gregorian calendar. The new year would start when Sirius rose behind the sun, and July 26th is that day very often. But now that we're off, it's coming like July 4th this year, July 6th, Sirius is rising July 4th or 6th, and I'm wondering if that's how much off we are. But what if all the Leos we wanted to be here at the beginning of the world, we got something to do with telling everybody about the beginning of the world so we can go back to it? Because we're also all about like telling people stuff. All us Leos, we got to tell people about the beginning of the world. So
Orion's
all you
War.
Leos.
Dude, July 26th, and my birthday is July 25th, so it seems like maybe I got here one day before for some reason. But yeah, all us Leos are right before Sirius rising or right after. So we were all the most excited to get here. I don't know. We're all the most excited sign to be here or something.
Maybe you were there with the Galactic War.
Yeah, or like, yeah, we're the first ones that respond or something, or that wanted to, I don't know, but maybe you guys, if you want to look it up later, Sirius rising, maybe it has something to do with the planetary new year, and we're all so excited about it, and that's coming up soon too. I wonder if that's going to be significant also. 9/7/2 and 9/16, but this year I've been seeing that more often than usual.
I'm guessing it has something to do with the fire sign and the dragon energy.
Yeah, and what are we going into? The age of Aquarius? All that, is that an air sign?
Guys,
Aquarius is an air sign. Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna be that air. I think that air is gonna be bringing something on a wave, like fire on a wave. We're gonna light it up.
Feeding the fire. Yes.
I wasn't going to bring this up because I don't know, but I'm going to stand in my truth. I was drawn to pull a card from the Oracle deck, and I don't pull cards. The cards jump out of the deck. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't pull a card out of the deck. I shuffle until the card shows itself. I want to read you. First, I'm going to show you the card.
Hang on. Let me get you.
Earth and fire again.
Dragon.
Oh.
So, works with you to clear fifth dimensional ley lines. It is time for service. When you give, you receive. Now, let me read this. About this card of service, for the fourth dimensional brown and orange earth and fire dragons are calling on us now to help them clear the light up, help us clear and light up the new ley lines of our beautiful planet. The original ley lines were called dragon lines, for they were maintained by the dragons of old. Now a new fifth dimensional ley line system is being placed into the earth to carry golden Christ energy and prepare the planet for the new golden age. The dragons of earth and fire move through these lines, creating a path of light through which the higher love frequencies can flow. Guidance. Humbly invoke these dragons and have a sense of the power of the flaming orange fire combined with the grounding brown earth. Reach out a hand to touch the dragons. Then visualize earth being crisscrossed with lines of golden light. Picture these dragons anchoring this golden Christ energy whenever there are sacred places on the globe. Mentally place a golden flame at each of these sacred portals until you sense our planet lighting up. Whenever you are out walking or driving, ask the magnificent earth and fire dragons to travel along the ley lines below you. Bring the Christ light down through you so that you can distribute it where it is most needed. When you give, you receive. The earth and fire dragons will illuminate the challenges of your route ahead. As soon as you have acknowledged them, they will dissolve them. This will smooth your path. It will allow you to step lightly into your role as a master as the new golden age approaches.
I
Wow.
like that. I just said today all this air is
Awesome.
blowing my fire up and I'm gonna burn some shit down because I was mad at Weber's, but I was just kidding. But I was like, dude, all this wind is really like blowing me angry. But it's making me do stuff different. Like it was making me clean way better so that everybody didn't have to do anything, so that everybody's job was done and I wouldn't have to do it later. And I was like, you know what? I'm pissed. I'm gonna do all your job right now. Do all the side work really fast at the beginning and the end. But it's just a manifestation of what I like that deck, whatever deck you have.
Yeah, I was going to
But
ask you
this
what
Mercury
what is that?
Retrograde is
I just
very
got it.
fiery.
Okay.
Dragon Oracle cards.
Nice. Nice.
I like that deck.
I love this deck. I walked around looking and looking and looking, and then I walked away because I wasn't finding anything, and I found some other things that were mine. And I kept being drawn back over there, and I was like, that's it right there. I saw the dragon. I was like, oh, that's mine. And yeah,
That's mine. I love it. Good job. It's true.
standing in my truth. Got to do it.
Yes.
I wasn't
Awesome.
going to, like, I was like, no, it's not time yet. But you said dragons, and I was like, oh snap.
That's something we should all do, is drop that healing on the ley lines we walk over. Like when I ride my bike, I set it so
Yes.
that I drop it deep down and it keeps coming back up like fountains, and I drop it deep down everywhere I
froze.
step. And whoever passes there, it shoots up and it's always there in the air like a trail. Like I imagine I leave a trail, but you know, we do. And the more you intend it to, the deeper it goes. And it lasts forever anyway, but like I just want people to feel like, whoa, and like love each other. So yeah, that's, your card is giving us a good idea of what we should all do. This is bringing in a lot of power of the air blowing the fire. And I don't know what the water has to do with it really, but the earth, it's there. And I don't know anything about anything or elements, but maybe someone can incorporate water. Akasha, the fifth element, of course, is everywhere there, but I don't know where we incorporate water. Maybe we need it to cool us down, because I've been craving water all day, every day. I've barely been drinking my coffee because I need water.
Our
I
bodies
need
are
water
mostly
so
water.
much. Yeah, we need water. There we go. There's every single thing incorporated then. This Mercury retrograde needs us to do that shit, man. And drink your water.
Absolutely.
Drink your water. Thanks.
Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We've been on for 3.5 hours or so again. So it's been trying. I appreciate everybody coming back and back and back after the failed attempts of Mercury retrograde trying to knock our asses out, but we came back and we made it through. So I want to thank everybody once again for joining us, and like I said, for finding us for the third time tonight. And I'll be back on tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, so be sure to join us then. Going to be having a raffle for a free shirt for the all of our Patreon subscribers of 111 or more. You're all entered in a raffle. So on 2/22, Alina's birthday, at 2:22 p.m., we're going to be having that raffle. So we'll be on at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So be sure to join us then. And guess I'll leave it off at that. So I'm sending you all infinite love and light. Thank you for
Happy
joining me.
birthday. Have a good night.
Namaste.
Happy
Good
birthday.
night. Namaste.
No,
Happy
it's July
birthday, whoever had
25th.
a birthday.
It's July
Namaste,
25th.
everybody.
Well, yeah.
But
Have a good
anyway.
night.
I love you.
See you all next
Woobity
time.
woobity woo.